Hello, hello, hello. We are back.
Hey, hey.
And look who I have with me on set. We have the
it's the killer pitch master.
Right,
Williams.
All right, let me we're gonna get started in just a second here. I just want to make sure that we have everything in place. Okay, there we go. All right, so let's get started. So welcome, welcome, welcome. You have joined us. Let me make sure I have the right banner. Okay, there we go, y'all. Okay, you have joined us for the 𝙌𝙐𝙀𝙀𝙉'𝙎 Roundtable Leadership Symposium. I am here with another expert exclusive interview with the one and only. She is going to introduce herself in just a moment. Before she does, let me introduce myself. I am Jacqueline Kaba-Harrison. I am the symposium host. The 𝙌𝙀𝙀𝙀𝙉'𝙎 Roundtable Leadership Symposium happens 3 times a year: January, May, and September. So if you weren't able to be a part of this one, then connect with me and maybe you can participate in September. I am also the host for 𝙌𝙀𝙀𝙀𝙉'𝙎 Roundtable show and podcast, which streams live on Facebook, LinkedIn, as well as the Women Win Network. All right, so if I'm looking for show hosts, if you are interested in being a guest on the show, look me up and let me know. I am also the executive channel producer for the 𝙌𝙀𝙀𝙀𝙉'𝙎 Roundtable channel on the Women Win Network. Yes, I said it, on the Women Win Network, which is strictly dedicated to women winning, straight up empowerment. And last but not least, I have a book anthology coming out. It's called Born to Lead, Awakening the Leader Within. And also, I'm so excited that Miss Precious here has agreed to be our forward author. So you need to stay connected, okay? Just stay connected because the book is going to drop next month, and I want you to be able to get your copy, all right? So stay connected. You see my website there, Realizing Your Potential, the number's 123.com, or please follow me on Facebook at Realizing Your Potential, the number's 123. That way, as soon as the book drops, you can be the first one to get your copy, okay? And just to stay connected in general. So, Miss Precious Williams, aka the Killer Pitch Master, the floor is yours. Go ahead, introduce yourself, and let the ladies know who you are, who you serve, how you serve, and just tell us some things about yourself.
Okay. Well, good day, everyone. My name is Precious Williams, and I am the proud founder and CEO of Perfect Pitches by Precious. And I literally teach the art and the science, the most killer elevator pitches, media pitches, investor pitches, sales pitches, speaker pitches, and interview pitches. Most people have never met a killer pitch master, so I got to embrace all parts of that. In addition to being a killer pitch master who has now turned into the pitch queen, I am a 4-time #1 best-selling author. I am an international professional speaker who stays booked and busy. I'm a Fortune 500 corporate trainer for big tech and big finance and Fortune 500 financial services companies. And beyond all of that, I'm a fun gal about town. I'm a full-figure diva who took the business world by storm and won big. So before Lizzo, before Ashley Graham was on the cover of Sports Illustrated, there was Precious Williams with her company, Curvy Girls Lingerie, the ultimate shopping experience for full-figure divas and plus-size fashionistas. I found my niche in pitching when I didn't have a family and friends around. I was an attorney, and people told me to keep being an attorney, and I knew that Curvy Girls Lingerie was going to make it. I can't even explain it, but I knew. And I'm someone who's been a visionary and a trailblazer for so long that I don't pay attention to people say, oh, it can't be done. I'm like, you must be talking to somebody else because you can't possibly be talking to me. And, my first pitch got me on national television. My second pitch got me $500,000 in investments. And then I was told to enter pitch competitions. And out of 14 tries, I'm a 13-time national champion. But beyond all of that, I'm someone who's been canceled, someone who's made mistakes, someone who was forgotten about, disrespected, dismissed, abused, tossed, kicked to the curb. And I came back in 2018 with a vengeance. And so I took what I knew about pitching the first time when I used to treat people transactionally, what could you do for me, to now realizing that leadership is built on real relationships. And so once you leave transactional relationships to building real relationships, you will see how you will be book busy and paid. You will see that you will always have people wanting whatever you're providing. You will be able to bait, attract, and close with ease. And you'll always have people pitching you in spaces you've never been before. And so at the end of the day, now I am the host of a national entrepreneurial show and also the pitch trainer. And there's so much that I've been blessed to do. And I hope that when you all listen to what we all speak of, what Jacqueline and I speak about today, you'll realize we are born to lead and we can't allow others to dictate how high we really fly.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for being on the platform. And you're going to tell us a little bit more about this show, this new show too.
Oh, girl, I know you saw the pictures, girl. We was like West Coast living, okay, and just being treated well. Like when I think about Born a Lead Queen, one of the things that was just, when you walk on a set and Janice Howroy, the billionaire, David Meltzer, multi-millionaire investor and show host, Marie Osmond, who I can't believe I saw her in real life, and was just like, wow, these people are such professionals. And then the production team, and I was chosen by them because of my talent and my ability. When I show up, we're gonna have some fun, but I'm gonna teach too. And so it's a show for entrepreneurs to pitch, but it's not the normal way of pitching. So that's what's really, really fun. And to be in the space and place glam team, picked up, dropped up, needs met. I was like, oh, I thought it was over. Ow, they told me I was canceled. Ow, they said it was over. Ow, that's what leaders do. We rise like the phoenix. And so even when you think about the pandemic and economic downturn and social unrest, there are people who shrink, and then there are leaders who, they rise to the occasion. And I'm someone who's like a firefighter. I'm gonna go to it and I'm gonna go through it.
Okay. Wow. That does sound nice, boy. Oh, so you
I mean, is that what we do? I mean, every woman a part of this book, who's a part of this book, has a story that is just not normal. And I hope my prayer in being like the forward author is to just introduce you to things you've never even heard or seen before, at least not in the chocolateness of it all. And just being like, I am unafraid to be me. And even when I was on set, right? And there were multiple sets, I remember just sitting there and just being, how does a Black girl from the hood of St. Louis, who was beaten, abandoned, abused, tossed to the curb by her own parents, left for dead, get all the way to New York City, become an award-winning attorney, lose it all, meet the love of her life, he dies, and you just but you come back. And when people said it couldn't be done, thank God God gives second chances.
Wow. Yeah, you've been through, I've heard your story, and you've been through quite a bit. You've been through quite a bit of challenges in your life, and look at you now. I mean, wow.
And I don't feel defined by them. I don't feel defined. Like, I know some people are like, oh, that's all she talks about. I'm like, do you really think as a trainer that's what I talk about all the time? Really? No, but I'm not afraid to talk about my past. And I think coming back this time, my higher power said you got to do it the real way and don't give this fake story of how everything just all fell into place, because that's not real. And we have too many people out here thinking, I didn't grow up with money, I didn't grow up with connections, I didn't do, how do I do it? And I'm like, listen, there was something in me that said I'm not giving up. And even when I wanted to give up, God was choking out the fat lady in the back. This one ain't going nowhere. And so as I spent those 2 years in homelessness, as I spent those 2 years rebuilding myself, as I spent those 2 years, I mean, I even look back over my past, like, you ever just look back, like even like today, like you putting this book together, there had to be something in you that was like, yes, we have a lot of compilation books, but at the end of the day, there's something missing. There's still an element missing, and you knew it. And so they're not going to hear the same old stories. And that's why I was excited to be a part of it.
I'm so excited. I mean, I'm thankful for you being a part of it. Our featured co-author, Dr. Nikita, and like you said, the other ladies. Oh my God, the stories are just you all are gonna be blown away. Okay,
I'm trying to tell you. I tried to tell you. I tried to tell you.
It's gonna be good. It's gonna be real good. So, Miss Precious, let me ask you, when you were growing up, did you have like any individuals around you, whether it be immediate family or who were your mentors, and did you see leadership? Did you see entrepreneurship? As you were growing up.
It's funny you said, I'm gonna answer about the entrepreneurship. Not really. I mean, I know we had Black History Month, so we always celebrated Oprah and all it. Like it was the same people. But when I look back, I had a fifth grade teacher named Narcissus Bryant who wanted to make sure I was in gifted and talented classes because she saw something in me. I think about Miss Addie B. Jackson, Miss Ruth Hill, Mr. Wickman. Even I went to an inner city high school. I think about the teachers who still saw something in me, even if I wasn't, even if it didn't in the natural didn't look like, oh, I mean, I had a big personality even back then and was always in the St. Louis Post-Dispatch, but I think that they saw beyond just St. Louis. And of course, there's my grandmother, and we can never forget about Precious Dolores Williams, who was was the most exemplary mother I've ever seen and met in my life. And although she was my grandmother, that really was my mother. And she taught me how to love someone back to life, not love someone to death, love them back to life. And when she hugged me and held me, sometimes we would watch figure skating and we'd be hugged up on each other, talking that talk, 16-year-old to grandma, I was getting it in. And I look back and I'm like, man, this is probably most children in the hood probably never had this thing, but I got to get it in with my grandmother. I got to get it in and tell her how I felt. And she just kept building me up and telling me I was the greatest. But that was reinforced by my teachers who saw things in me. And even when I was at Spelman, even when I was at Georgetown, even when I was at Rutgers, there were people who always looked out, getting full scholarships, putting me before VIPs. I've been blessed, even with my clients. Like I have a client right now who was penthouse apartment, right? And I'd never met her before. We'd only been just doing Zoom calls and I'm watching her blow up and stuff like that. And I meet her and I'm just looking around and I'm like, I'm around the right people because they see something in me and they see something in me that's going to enhance them. Right. So there's always been great leaders around me, even if they didn't know they were leading me. I spoke to a woman yesterday, Donna, who is a training, she's in training at Schulte Rother Law Firm. And she was in my Booked and Busy Speakers Master Book Boot Camp. And she told me months ago where I was going, and I didn't hear her until things started manifesting. And so I called her yesterday and I was talking. She said, oh, oh no, it's about to get real. She said, so don't put on brakes, keep going. She said, I want you to keep going. And so there were people who spoke life into me, and it took me a while to hear them. I think about Ty I think about Ty Goodwin, like my business coach. She's been pouring into me. She's like, "You are bigger than Tony Robbins. You're big." Like, who says that? But that's how she saw me. And here I am coming out of homelessness. Here I am coming out of frustration and trying to survive. And she's just looking at me like, I'm gonna keep saying this until it hits your brain. And when it hit my brain after going from surviving to thriving, I knew that that's what I had to do for other women, especially. Is there is life after weight gain, children, failed careers, great careers that don't serve you, always being in roles to other people, but you don't even know yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I mean, I think it
Divorce.
also when I was at, huh?
I said life after divorce.
Yeah, I ain't never been divorced, but I have dropped some zeros. Trust and believe. Life after the love of your life dies, right? And I'm not a widow. I remember this one thing that happened on set. So we had some investors, and one of them, she's so cute. She was just so gorgeous. And she looks at me and she says, I've never met a woman who is so confident in her own skin. She said, you walk in here, it's a different wig, it's a different vibe. It's like you really are showing up as you are. You know, I'm going through dental surgery. And so there were times I took, my flipper out because I'm getting ready to have surgery when I come back. And I'm laughing, joking, kicking. When I tell you the billionaires, no one cared. No one. And I grew up always hearing, you have to look something, I guess have straight hair. You have to, and it's like, I'm busting loose. I don't want any limitations on me.
Right.
Because as Ty Goodwin always says, when you step into your purpose, another woman can step into hers. And if she can't see it, then she's not gonna think it can happen.
Right.
And that's why you need visionaries like you, Jacqueline. You need visionaries like me who are like, you know what, if I'm gonna get beat up, at least the next generation knows what is possible. It doesn't have to be in entertainment and sports. They know it could be in business. They know it could be in speaking. You can create books. You can create communities. You can create like tribes that fit your vibe. We live in a different world than our grandparents and maybe even our parents. So take advantage of these opportunities, and I will always give it back to the women who bless me, to the kings who bless me. And so I don't know, I've always had great angels around. It's just sad that I didn't realize it until later.
Okay. All right. Well, how about you personally? When did you first accept that leadership crown, if you will?
When I started Curvy Girls Lingerie.
Okay.
When I really started it. And it was hard when people kept saying, you're too big. No one's ever going to invest in a company like that. Big women don't matter. Fat women don't matter. And when I was going to, I was writing my business plan, I was getting all this data and information. I'm going to each lingerie store in Brooklyn, Manhattan, and the Bronx, from the holes in the wall to La Pearl, La Journelle Wolf, or, to the Victoria's Secret, Agent Provocateur. I saw what the differences were and how certain women were treated. And I said, you know what? We're not going to talk about fat girls. We're going to talk about full-figure divas and plus-size fashionistas. And so I had to change my language about everything. I had to change my language. I had to change my whole life in the game. And so wherever I went, I made sure to throw out them bars like I was Drake. I take attendance like a classroom. You know what I mean? And I wanted women, when they saw me, to say, I didn't think it was possible. If I'm too fat, too black, and don't have an Ivy League degree, then why are my books being sold at Harvard University today? Why am I teaching at Columbia, Babson College? It's because I had the vision to know that there's going to come a time when people are going to get tired of seeing the same old, same old. And in order to be a leader, it's going to be unpopular in the beginning. It's going to be unpopular. Mm-hmm. People are going to tell you that you don't need to be here. Oh, you can tell me all day long, but I know where I belong. You just don't. Or, Precious, could you just stay in your place? My place is everywhere. I'm like Beast. I'm everywhere you want to be.
What's in your wallet?
And listen, when I shot that MasterCard commercial last year for Priceless,
I remember that.
You couldn't tell me nothing. I remember that. Priceless. I walked out of home and said, 1st, 2018. And you mean to tell me in March 2021, I'm in a MasterCard commercial. And I look back and I'm like, they only knew what was going on in my mind. Like, Jigga who?
Yeah.
Jigga what? You know, but it started with that decision to start something. Even the love of my life who is deceased, I don't think he knew what I was going to do. I think it sounded maybe good in theory. But having that focus, leaving the law behind, going, I mean, girl, can we talk about ramen noodles and all, like oodles and like there was a lot of times it was catch as catch can, but still being married to it and moving forward. I mean, I look at this. I don't know why. It just this X. And of course, it makes you think of DMX, and then there was X, you know. But this is my this was handmade by the students at Babson College when I did my second TED Talk, and I think this is like of all the things, this just says up like, wow. March 2022, March 15th, 2010, I left my ex-fiance. March 15th, 2002, I got kicked out of Georgetown. March 2022, 20 years later and 10 years later, or 12 years later. Who's laughing now? So it's you know, being a leader, as I said, it's uncomfortable. It can be hard. But it's a process like anything else. You grow through it.
Right.
Or as some people will run and hide. And that's why you gotta have some people who are just like, they got that testicular fortitude in them, like, I ain't going nowhere. So when that song by The Game and 50 Cent, hated or love it, the underdog's on top, and I'm gonna shine homie until my heart stops. Envy me. I'm pitching's MVP and I ain't going nowhere. So you should get to know me. Stop it. Stop it. And that's why like, when I go over and speak, I have my theme song, so I go ham on them. I'm like, when I walk out, I walk out to Nicki Minaj's Moment for Life. I don't care what environment, LinkedIn, what, like you can feel the vibe change because I'm like, oh, you think I'm gonna walk into? No, I want you to feel what she says. In this very moment, I'm king. In this very moment, I slay Goliath with the sling. Think about that. You have to slay divorce. You have to slay other people's opinion. You have to slay your fear, worrying, and doubt. And look them in the eye like, I don't need what everybody says I need. I'm coming at you hard. I'm looking you in the eye. Are you ready for what? Right. Can that's you right. Smell what the rock is cooking? Like,
that's right. And I remember, and I know I met you in person. Remember for the Leadership Experience Tour?
You know I did. Yeah, girl, we was in Detroit, Troy, Michigan.
Yep, in Troy, Michigan. Yep. And you know, it was just like your energy was just so, or is just so amazing. You know, and sometimes people present one way online, but then when you really talk to them or meet them, you know, but it was all congruent. Everything was, you know, this is who she is online. This is who she is in person.
Thank God you didn't meet me before all of that happened, because it'd be a totally different experience. And I think when Tandra Price said that to me, she's like, you really are this way in real life. I was like, girl, that second chance is all I needed. I can't do it like everybody else. I can't front like everything is perfect. I can't front. I want y'all to see this. It's some blood, sweat, and tears in what we do. It's hard times. I got to rob Peter to pay Paul today. You know, I'm gonna have to see Peter in 30 days. Like, this is that challenge. And I'm sure mothers feel that way. I'm sure, you know, entrepreneurs, speakers feel that way. Like sometimes it's not easy. Sometimes it really isn't easy, no matter what is portrayed on social media. So I do have fears at times. I do have worries and doubts. I'm not gonna lie to any of y'all. I did, like, even today when I woke up with those three paid speaking engagements with this very prestigious organization, I'm now at a place where I can accept without thinking of no, ain't no buts. Like, oh, I expect that. Like Cardi B said, I'm on the charts, expect that. Every day prom night.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you don't have to sound like everybody else to do it. And that's why I look at you, Jacqueline. Like when we met and I got to sit and listen to the speakers, I felt honored because I'm watching that generation right before my eyes. And speaking isn't perfect. And you learn as you grow, and you can feel the energy in the room, and you can start to know what to switch up with and
Mhm.
things like that. Like when I started Queen, girl, I had to have a when I started writing my own speeches, I
Mhm.
had a podium. Girl, when I let that podium behind, I was like, bump that. Let that go. I don't even need that. I'm about to give it to you ham and cheese.
Right.
Like, oh wow. And it's quite refreshing because I
It is.
love being spontaneous and being in your face, but that's born to lead.
Mhm.
And it's
That's why
exciting.
you were like a
Yeah.
perfect fit to do the forward for this piece.
Why
Perfect,
did you
perfect,
choose
perfect.
me? Why have all you listen? There are some dope women all around you. Why me?
Because of which, because you bring it. You bring it. I mean, you are like everything all mixed up in one. You're a leader. You are transparent. You have a sense of integrity, and just like meeting you was just, I felt a real sense of genuineness from you, and even though you have all of these accolades, you're still you're very humble, and I was like, hey, I was like, she's perfect.
She's like, I can rock with that.
Hmm. Yeah, like she
And
said,
now
put
I feel
put
like
your
a
glasses back
leader.
on.
I
No,
feel like a leader. Oh, go ahead.
no, I said, I'm looking at you. I said, you put your glasses back on.
Oh yeah, because I was like, I feel like a leader every day. I really do. When I wake up, I thank God for another day. I
Mhm.
get in my devotionals. I read my affirmations. I did a LinkedIn live earlier, and I was talking about the 10 affirmations that help me level up. I couldn't really do affirmations when I was in the struggle mode, but when I started to overcome the things that used to hold me back, they really helped me. And when I say all roads are open and anything and everything is possible,
Mhm.
anything and opportunity, money flows, opportunities flow, everything positive flows to me easily and effortlessly. I am and create magic. My life is golden. Everything I touch turns to gold. I
Mhm.
am strong, resilient, and calm.
That's
I
right.
see abundance everywhere.
Everywhere. Yeah.
Guard my heart and protect my mind, oh Lord. And finally, God is with me and within me always.
Yeah. Always. That's right. You can't leave him out.
Always.
You can't leave him out. He is there
Mm-mm,
with
but he
us.
ain't brother man from the fifth floor. He ain't brother man from the fifth floor.
Right.
Like, you're like, what?
Well, you know what? I'm looking. This is like midway through. So if you don't mind, we're going to take a quick commercial and then we'll be right back.
Realizing Your Potential LLC presents Born to Lead, Awakening the Leader Within. This anthology brings together women that have overcome hardships in their lives and have managed not only to survive, but thrive. Their stories focus on resiliency, adaptability, and strength, acknowledging the innate strength and leadership qualities in African American women.
All right. And we are back. So tell us, and I know you kind of touched on a couple of them, but tell us, what have some of your challenges been as an African American woman in leadership, whether it's in your own business, whether it was in the corporate sector, whatever you like to share with us, and how did you overcome those obstacles?
Some of the challenges that I have faced are probably not even shocking to most Black women. Number one, choosing the wrong business partner,
You said
not
choosing the
vetting
wrong
what
business partner.
business partner.
Okay.
So my first business, Curvy Girls, when I selected a business partner as we were growing, I selected Shirley because we were friends and we had never been in business together. That's wrong, right? And also, when I think about other challenges, it's like having the wrong people around you, right? When I was on my way down and suffering and in depression, I hung around the wrong people because caused me to make really bad decisions in my life, in my career, and my business. And although Curvy Girls is not around today, it at least gave birth to Perfect Pitches by Precious. Some other challenges I faced is just because my professional life is great doesn't mean that my personal life is. So dating is hard to me. It's just hard. Not because people want to date the killer pitch master, but because being so wounded, it's hard to put trust in men, no matter how great they are. And I've had some pretty great men in my past, but when I did start dating after I left my ex fiance in 2010, I think I made a lot of very poor choices. And my, yeah, I made some poor choices. And I dated at the level of my esteem and not where I was headed. Another problem is, if you don't mind the dollars, if you don't mind the cents, the dollars will never add up. I promise you. So focus on the pennies. The dollars do add up. If you focus on other things like social media clout and I'm doing this, that's real cute. But likes don't pay the bills. I promise you they don't. I promise you they don't. Another challenge was not realizing the opportunities that were in front of me. And thank God I was able to go back and get some of those opportunities. But people tell you the fortune's in the follow up. It is in relationships and in life and in your business. So although, I've sold so many books, imagine if I had started writing books earlier. What if I trusted others to help me? I'm a speaker and I actually write my books. But if a particular queen didn't get at me and say this book got to be written my first book had to be written in 2.5 months, baby, I'd have been like, yeah, I got a whole year. The whole year would have been 10 years. I also didn't think people really liked me. Okay. And so I kept things very transactional. So I made a lot of mistakes relationships wise with friends, family, and everything. And my prayer is that people can see the light in me and not the darkness. I made a lot of really bad mistakes. And as I look at our young people, I'm like, you're supposed to make mistakes. I don't know. I know people telling you you're not supposed to, but you are. Mm-hmm. I still make mistakes at 43. I think another challenge is not allowing myself to feel grace and I think a lot of women are living in guilt and shame, and it's keeping you tethered to relationships that no longer serve you. And when I say I've had to kick people to the curb, I mean that. I mean that. Not in an evil way, but just, yeah, that's over. And I read this quote a long time ago, Jacqueline. It's in a book called 𝙌𝙐𝙀𝙀𝙀𝙀. Sometimes the best light for the journey is the result of a burning bridge. And people say, oh, you shouldn't burn a bridge. I burned them. I can't go back. I don't even want that bridge no more. Listen, nope. I don't even want it. It's not a bridge I want to cross again. The first few times was horrific. I'm good. And some of us aren't compatible after time. It just happens. I think another challenge is success changes how people see you. Because they think everything is perfect in your life. And you're like, I mean, it's good. I'm thankful. Mm-hmm. But it also puts pressure. It makes people feel this pressure that you have to be doing this and that. Like I've had friends say to me, girl, I know you making millions. And I'm like, why is whatever's in my pocket a focus of conversation? Right. And I'm not saying that to be funny. I mean that for real. Like when money starts coming, that's when the IRS starts coming. So back taxes, if you thought you were good, they're gonna go back and go over some old taxes that probably weren't filed right. And I didn't, I don't know how to file taxes, Queen. I pay people who put me in binds, so there are things that come up. And so for me, success is beautiful, but it's also frightening because people put you in a box where if you don't say or do what they expect you to do, all of a sudden you're this horrible person. It's like, baby, I didn't go to perfect school. I don't know what you expect from me. And I have to remain like, this is precious. I'm not always going to eat a salad. I'm not always, I'm not. I'm not. I'm not always going to wear the wig you want me to wear. My hair's not always going to be on point. I'm not going to be wearing Fendi, Gucci, Givenchy, Dolce and Gabbana every time. No. If that's how you're going to peg me, and that's your measure of success, that's not my measure. My measure is that the women and the men who have supported me from jump, those who've come later, when I do things, they showing up. That's my measure because that means I actually have impact. You're looking at likes. I'm looking at impact. I'm looking at sales. I'm looking at if I'm having surgery, people are like checking in. Hey girl, what's good? Women, Sylvia Kuntz sent me like flowers. She sent me roses. I was so shocked. I have people who will have food delivered to me. I ain't asking. Food, soft food, Precious. I just know you had surgery, so I just assumed it was oral. So I'm gonna send some whole food, some of that soft for you, girl, from oatmeal, some applesauce, and I'm gonna send some peanut butter, and I'm like, why is it when I was in business the first time, I never got this? It's because I was transactional, not relationship based.
Okay. Wow. Transactional versus how did you phrase it?
Relationships matter, Queen. So, if I was a horrible person and things happen to me, ain't nobody gonna care.
Right.
Even if I made billions.
Right.
Mm-hmm. But when you're transactional, because I know people are always talking about social climbing and stuff like that. Like that's part of it, But can people call you when times get rough? And I don't mean just financially. I mean like, Precious, I don't know what to do. Can I just have some minutes of your time? And if I had that, if I'm in that time, because if you're on set, you can't. But by the time, hold up, shut it down. Let's talk. What's going on, Queen? What's going on, King? Okay. And I'm actively listening. I'm not going to ask nothing. Sometimes friends will need something and they're afraid to ask me. It's not even financial. Sometimes they just want to hear a listening ear. Chop it up a little bit because I feel alone. And the only reason I know that is because that's how I felt. And I was too chicken to ask people to hear me and listen. Do you have time for me? You'd be amazed. It's not always money people want. Sometimes they really just want to break bread and chop it up and be like, am I crazy? I'm like, nah, you're not crazy because we're both crazy.
Right. Right. Yeah. But
sometimes you want somebody to go with you.
About relationships, talking about relationships, building relationships, right. Collaborating, I mean, I guess I think I first interviewed you on the A Queens Roundtable show. I don't know if it was a year ago or a year and a half or 2 years. I don't know.
Don't give me some stories.
I know, and you still the same, in terms of how you show up. You know what I mean? You show up. You're consistent. You treat people with respect, and it's just you bring good energy. You bring good vibes. That obviously in addition to what you're talking about. You know what I mean? You own your talent. So that
it's Heavenly Father for giving it to me. I thank him for giving it to me. I can only listen. I'm only the vessel, like for real. Yeah. And I think that tells you a lot of us have gifts and talents we have not put out.
Yeah. And that's part of the Born to Lead, Awakening the Leader Within. Interviewing different women, not just for this platform, but even, a year, 2 years ago. I've interviewed a lot of women. And one of the things is have been doing this all our lives. You know, we're the go-to person. We, you know, put things together. We walk into a situation where, okay, well, we need to do this, we need to do that, get rid of that. Let's, you know what I mean? We walk in and we get it done.
Know what to do.
We know what to do. It's no questions. It's no, you know, we just kick in gear and do it and get it done, right? Whether it's for ourselves, whether it's for a Fortune 500 company, you know, we do it. And the thing of it is, a lot of times we're reluctant to say that we consider ourselves a leader because we just don't even think of ourselves as that accepting or having that title, you know. And oftentimes we're comfortable, but we're comfortable in the background, you know what I mean, or behind the scenes.
Yep.
You know, we don't want to, you know, come out and say, yes, you know, I helped put this together, you know. So that's why I think it's so important to have these conversations and these types of forums, and to be able to say, sis, come on to the front, you know, wear that leadership hat, if you will, you know, because leadership, a lot of these qualities I think are innate, but over the years, you know, as our confidence grows based on, you know, what we see in our environment, we nurture it, we refine it, you know, and a lot of us branch out into our own business, you know. Kudos to those that have their own business, and then others, you know, we may continue to do it, you know, at our Fortune 500 companies, you know, whichever you choose, but wear it, you know, wear it with a sense of pride, you know, because it's in you, and you've nurtured it, and you've perfected your craft, if you will, you know. So that's why I like to have these conversations and talk about, like, who were people's mentors, and, you know, did you grow up with any influences? And, you know, and I've heard a mixed bag. Some people have had a lot of mentors in their life, you know, maybe their mom, their grandmother, their aunts, and some people haven't had any. You know, some people may have paid someone as an adult to be a mentor, you know. So it's a lot of different ways that it happens, but I just want it to happen. I want you all to know that you have these abilities inside of you. It's just a matter of bringing them out, nurturing them, and just seeing where it takes you, because you never know. If you had asked me, I don't know, maybe 6-7 years ago, if I would have been doing something like this, I would have laughed. I would have been like, oh, what you talking about? Not me, you know. So, but here I am. Here you are. You know, so that's why I think it's important to have these conversations. So again, thank you for being.
I think it is too.
But go ahead and tell us anything. Like, what do you want to leave the ladies with? Like a bit of encouragement, some tools to walk away with.
You know, the two things I want to leave you all with.
Okay.
Number one, my theme for this year has been dream big, ask bigger. So you always people say dream big, but I want you to ask bigger of yourself. And that's bigger of everyone else. When things are brought to you, negotiate, talk about it. You know, bring in your trusted counsel, because there's certain things you're not going to be able to see. But when you involve trusted and wise counsel, they'll bring out things you never even considered. And number two, and I've been saying this for a couple of years, fortune favors the bold. And you have to boldly go after what you want. Are you going to ruffle some feathers? Yeah, but like Bonnie Ray, give them something to talk about on the way up. Trust me. Trust me. The reason why you see people go to extremes is because the people have to cut through the clutter and noise of just the same old. And so that's why I don't want to be in platitudes and just saying, oh, it's going to be better. No. Let's break this down. You know, the journey of 1,000, what is it? A journey of 1,000. It starts with that first one. I remember reading this book about, I think he won the World Series of public speaking. You can't take the elevator, you got to take the stairs. Regardless of what young people are able to do, you still got to take the stairs. You got to learn it. And the first flush of success is not sustainable until you get the foundation right. And so even as leaders make mistakes. Everything is not like leadership isn't a guarantee. Just like business isn't a guarantee. I don't care how much you had your bets. We've had 100-year-old businesses that have fallen, but I don't know if businesses are supposed to always be 500. I don't think that's possible. But it doesn't make you a failure. It doesn't. My first business is not here anymore. But how do you think I feel when I look out and I see these full-figure divas walking around proudly and know they said that nobody cared about us? And I knew they did. And that they said speaking and pitching is dead. And yet we got some booked and busy people out here. Okay. So fortune favors the bold. And for all of those who talk reckless on my name, as Cardi B said, you talk reckless on my name. Thank you. You kept my name out there without me saying a word. And so when people meet me, I'm not what people think I am. Oh, she's going to be this. No, I'm really not. I am humbled. I'm grateful. But I know who I am. So if you want to play with me, okay. Okay.
You know, I want you to talk just a little bit. I know, right? I want you to talk a little bit about when you mentioned about being bold. And I know I've heard you speak before about the title of your book, how people, you know, were saying that, oh, you shouldn't do that. That's not professional, whatever the wording was.
Girl, my first book, Bad Bitches and Power Bitches. Bad Bitches and Power Bitches. That's what you're talking about? Oh, yep. Queen. Yeah, that was like a fight in these streets, you know. So I had the title in my mind for years, and I would put it on social media, see what people, oh, nobody ever bought that book, da, 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 da. Now I'm watching people who look nothing like me write a book called Go to F to Sleep. You are a badass at making money. And yet the problem is with me. So luckily I had developed a relationship with Sharon Monet, and you know, she was asking me that question, like, where that book at? Try to get away from what she talking about. She said, what's the title? I said, Bad Bitches and Power Bitches. She said, ooh, that's fire. Word? So wrote it. And I remember one of the top 3 speakers in the world contacted me and said, change the title and I get this sold to the government. Freaked out. Maybe 2 people will buy it. Put it out, debuted at #1 on Amazon. And no, I didn't have a marketing plan. No, I didn't. Not at all. Didn't think nobody would pay attention. And Ty Goodwin called me to tell me, you know, you're #1. What? And it was at $19.99. What? And then Forbes magazine wanted to review it. And then the billboard in Times Square. And then big companies started buying it. Oh, and so is the federal government. So if it was urban lit, it'd still be fire. But it was a business book that's a 4-time Book of the Year finalist in business sales and economics. It is a book that is the first entree. You can't afford Precious? I can get a $20 book though. And she assigned it too. Oh, I'm on that. That book broke me wide open to people because when they were reading it, I think they thought it was going, and it wasn't. It was really, you need to know the psychology of pitching. Before people give you all these prompts, I do this to help. Man, that's boring. That's played. Who does that? I said, people who are teaching you that want to keep you in a certain place. I said, you ought to know when I step on this, I think about Shark Tank experience. I think about my MSNBC, my Forbes experience. I couldn't talk like that. I went in, I said, you know what? If you ain't going to like me, I'll make you love me because I'm going to go ham on you real quick. And being able that I came from, I have a background of credibility. My clients are flying and soaring. And these are people who were dope before. So making that decision to move forward with that title was amazing. The second book, amazing. The third book, amazing. And now the next one that's going to come. Listen, I don't worry about being #1 anymore. I don't worry about it. Because there are a lot of New York Times bestsellers out there that have never been on the New York Times. They were selling it out of the trunk of their car. Leaders. They were getting it in churches. They were getting it at swap meets. They were getting it. And so sometimes you've got to break the mold. This is what people think is the pinnacle of success. What they don't know is You selling? You still selling? Companies are buying it. Peeps is buying it. You collecting all the profits. What we talking about, Willis?
Mm-hmm.
Still selling it 3 years after the fact.
Wow.
What we talking about? BMW, Google, LinkedIn, Microsoft. Don't play with me. And that's what Sharon was telling me. She's like, I know in the beginning you want to be number one, and that's great. She said, but you've been number one at 1999, 24.99. So it takes someone to break the mold. And when I say fortune favors the bold, it's because I know what people do. That doesn't mean I have to do it. And again, when I step into my purpose, another woman can step into hers. So whether you sell it for 99 cents or full price or whatever, keep going. Seeing who else can buy, putting it out there. Asking your network to keep pushing it, and not just on the day that it's going to arrive. You can still sell years and years and years and years and years after the fact and still not be on the New York Times and have outsold the New York Times bestsellers. I'm telling you, it's real. And that's what I mean by you don't have to let society's version of what success looks like. Maybe it's I'm spending a yacht every day. Maybe I've been on yacht sailboats, eating the finest foods from around the world. And sometimes I want my grandmother's cooking. Sometimes I want a short thigh from Church's Chicken. Sometimes I just want a Chipotle burrito bowl. Sometimes I want a miso glazed Chilean sea bass. Some days I want to be at Craig's and Nobu. Sometimes I want to eat French food.
Right. Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, I can do it all. And I wrote my own paycheck to do it. So I paid the cost to be the boss. So that's it. That's why I say about being bold. Yes, people tell you what success is, but they usually aren't at that level to tell you.
Well, I'm looking at the time. We have to go ahead and wrap up. So I want you to tell them where they can find you, and then I'm going to go ahead and close it out.
Okay, so hey everybody, again, I'm Precious Williams, Killer Pitch Master. My website is www.perfectpitchesbyprecious.com. On Facebook, I'm at Perfect Pitch P. On Twitter, I'm at Perfect Pitch P. On Instagram, I'm at Perfect Pitches P. And on LinkedIn, I'm Precious L. Williams, Killer Pitch Master. You can also check out on www.perfectpitchesbyprecious.com some of my courses, some of my digital training, and everything you know about me is probably on my website, big press that I've done, and just really getting to understand that I'm a regular woman with an extraordinary talent. And so come check me out, www.perfectpitchesbyprecious.com. You want to book me for paid speaking engagements around the world, I'm available. Holla at your girl, www.perfectpitchesbyprecious.com. And I will over deliver in a way you've never seen coming. Thank you.
She will over deliver, y'all. That's the truth. So thank you so much for joining us for this exclusive interview. I know you have learned a lot. I know you have learned a lot. And make sure you check out the other expert interviews as well. Again, it's all about leadership. I'm sorry. Ooh, it's all about leadership, right? So this is the 𝙌𝙀𝙀 Roundtable Leadership Symposium that you have joined us for. And I'm your host, Jacqueline Kaba-Harrison. And again, it's Born to Lead, Awakening the Leader Within. Like I said, all things leadership. And also make sure that you follow me at Realizing Your Potential on Facebook. At Realizing Your Potential, the number is 123. That way you will keep abreast of all of the expert interviews and everything else that I have going on, as well as knowing when you can get your copy of Born to Lead, Awakening the Leader Within. And again, this Precious Killer Pitch Master is the author of the foreword of the book. So you have to make sure that you get your copy. All right. So thanks again, everyone, for tuning in, and I will see you soon. All right. Take care, everybody.